the training hall of Station Zorth. 9 was feared by almost every warrior in the galaxy, not because of weapons, not because of monsters, but because of the floor. It could change gravity, slowly, silently, and dangerously. Most trainees barely survived the lower levels. Many never reached the higher ones. But today something unusual happened. The thick metal doors slid open, and a single human girl stepped inside the hall. Her name was Arya Hale. She looked too calm for a place that had broken trained soldiers. Short brown hair, steady eyes, simple black suit, nothing special, nothing powerful looking. Yet the way she walked, quiet, confident, almost relaxed, made the aliens watching her uncomfortable. Rows of alien trainees whispered to each other. A human? She looks weak. She won't last a minute. Why send her here? Arya ignored every voice. She walked to the center of the hall and stood still, hands at her sides, eyes forward. Above the hall, in a glass chamber, 3 alien commanders observed her. Commander Velkar frowned. She is smaller than expected. Commander Tova narrowed her eyes. Do not trust appearances. Humans hide surprising strength. Commander Zelk tapped the panel. We will test that. He pressed a command. A soft beep echoed across the hall. The floor glowed faintly as the first level of gravity activated. The pressure increased slightly, just enough to test balance. The alien trainees adjusted their stance. Some braced their feet. Arya did nothing, not even a blink. Zelk raised an eyebrow and activated the next level. The room felt heavier. A few aliens grunted softly, their chests tightening. One trainee's legs shook for a moment. Arya stood perfectly still. Commander Tova leaned forward. She is too calm. Velkar nodded. Increase it. Zelk tapped the control again. Another wave of gravity pressed down. It was strong enough to make many trainees drop to one knee. A large stone-skinned warrior lost balance and slammed into the floor. Sweat appeared on foreheads. Breaths grew uneven. Muscles shook under the weight. Arya finally moved, not because she struggled, but because she took a breath, slow and deep, like she was adjusting to something familiar. Then a small smirk appeared on her lips. One alien trainee whispered shakily, "Why is she smiling at this pressure?" Arya lifted her foot and took a step. The sound echoed sharply in the heavy air. Thump. Another step. Thump. She walked slowly, pushing through the gravity like it was nothing more than thick air. Her movements were steady, controlled, powerful. Commander Tova's eyes widened. She is walking at this level? Zelk's expression hardened. Impossible. Velkar pointed toward Arya's hand. Look, something is glowing. A faint blue symbol on Arya's right hand pulsed with soft light. Not bright, not dramatic, but alive. Zelk growled under his breath. She is hiding a power. Push the next level. Another wave of crushing gravity filled the hall. The lights flickered. Metal beams groaned. Trainees collapsed flat onto the floor, unable to fight it. Even strong elites couldn't lift their heads. But Arya remained standing. Her legs finally bent slightly. Her breathing deepened. Her hair pressed against her forehead from the intense downward force. But she did not fall. Her eyes lifted toward the observation window, staring directly at the commanders. She didn't smile this time, but her expression still showed confidence, as if she was saying, "Is that all?" The hall fell silent. No one understood what they were seeing. Commander Tova whispered, "No human should survive this level." Velkar shook his head slowly. "She is not normal." Zelk's frustration grew. "Increase it again." "Sir, that is beyond safe." "I said do it." Warning sirens echoed across the hall as the system prepared the next gravity stage. The floor turned bright white under Arya's feet. The air thickened until it felt like metal pressing down. The entire hall trembled as if under a heavy storm. Alien trainees tried to crawl out, but could not move an inch. Some could not even lift a finger. Arya's knees trembled, but she forced them straight. Her arms shook, but she held them steady. Her chest rose and fell heavily, but she kept breathing. The symbol on her hand glowed brighter, slow pulses of blue light. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears. Her vision blurred for a second, but she took a step. The floor dented under her foot. And then another step. Every commander froze. Tova whispered she should be broken. Velkar stepped back, overwhelmed. This is not possible. Zelk clenched his teeth. What kind of human is she? Arya raised her chin and stood tall in the crushing pressure. In that moment, every alien watching understood one terrifying truth. Arya Hale was not here just to survive the test. She was here to dominate it. And the deadly floor of Station Zoreth 9 had just met its match. The training hall stayed silent for a long moment after the gravity level dropped back to normal. But Mira didn't relax. She could feel it. The room was not done with her. Something was waiting. Something was watching. She stepped forward slowly, her boots touching the metal floor with soft echoes. The hall looked the same, but the air felt heavier, like the walls remembered what she just survived. Behind the observation window, the senior officers whispered to each other. "Did you see that?" one of them murmured. She didn't even hesitate. No recruit moves like that under triple gravity. Mira couldn't hear their voices, but she could feel their eyes. She knew they were testing her limits. She just didn't know why. As she walked deeper into the hall, the lights above flickered, one by one, as if guiding her toward something. She kept her shoulders straight, but inside her heartbeat was quick. Not from fear. Mira didn't fear pressure, but from curiosity. What's next? Why are they pushing me so early? She had trained for years, but this felt different. This wasn't normal academy training. This was something more intense, something secret. Suddenly, the floor beneath her gave a small vibration, not as strong as before, just a pulse, like a warning. Mira stopped. Another vibration followed, this one slightly stronger, and then a low mechanical hum filled the hall. It was slow, deep and powerful, like a machine waking up after years of sleep. Mira narrowed her eyes. They're not finished with me. The floor plates ahead of her shifted, dividing into long rectangular sections. Dust fell from the ceiling as the panels moved. A heavy metallic door rose from the ground, blocking her path. Mira stepped closer. There was no handle, no panel, nothing to hold. Just solid metal, smooth and cold. Then a voice echoed across the hall, calm, emotionless, and almost too quiet to hear. "Proceed." She looked around. "Proceed where?" she asked. No answer. Only silence. Mira pressed her hand on the door, and the metal felt warm under her touch. Slowly, a glowing line spread beneath her palm. The door responded to her. It scanned her. It recognized her. The metal door split in the middle and pulled open, revealing a dark corridor behind it. No lights, no sound, just darkness that felt alive. Myra's training taught her never to step into an unknown space without caution. But something inside her, something deeper, pulled her forward. She walked inside. The door closed behind her with a heavy echo. Darkness swallowed everything. She could barely hear her own breathing now. The walls were close, tight, suffocating. Every step sounded too loud. Then she heard it, soft footsteps behind her. Mira froze. She turned quickly, but the darkness was thick, almost like a curtain blocking her sight. The footsteps stopped too. She lowered her posture, ready to move. "Who's there?" she called out. No voice answered, only the feeling that someone or something was slowly getting closer. Mira took one careful step back. A second pair of steps answered her, matching her movement. Her heart didn't race. Instead, she felt sharper, more alert. So this is the real test. She slid her foot along the floor, listening. Her fingers curled, ready for combat. Suddenly, a single white light dropped from above, flicking on and shining directly over her head. The brightness cut to the dark corridor, revealing only a small circle of space around Mira. But nothing else. The rest of the hallway remained pitch black. Behind her, she heard a faint sound, metal scraping metal. It echoed softly, slowly, dangerously. Mira didn't turn yet. She waited. She listened. Another scrape. Another step. Whatever was coming, it wasn't rushing. It wasn't confused. It wasn't lost. It was hunting. And Mira realized something. This test wasn't about gravity. It wasn't about strength. It was about seeing how she moved. When the danger you cannot see is already moving toward you. She finally turned to face the darkness, her voice calm but firm. "All right," she said softly. "I'm ready." And something in the corridor breathed back. A deep, heavy exhale far too close. For a long moment, Mira didn't move. The dark corridor stayed silent, except for that slow, heavy breathing from somewhere just ahead of her. It wasn't human. It was too deep, too controlled, almost like something large was trying to hide its presence, but failing. Mira kept her stance low and ready. Her eyes followed every shadow, even though the darkness swallowed most of the hall. "Come on," she thought. "Show yourself." The breathing stopped. Myra's body tightened. She knew what that meant. Someone was preparing to strike. The single white light above her flickered once, twice, and then stayed on, but the shadows around her grew thicker, as if the darkness was gathering strength. Then it happened. A quick, sharp movement to her left. Not a sound, just air shifting. Mira spun toward it, but there was nothing. No figure, no shape, just empty darkness. She stepped back slowly, keeping her breathing steady. Whatever was in here with her wasn't clumsy. It was smart. It was testing her in its own way. She heard a second movement, this time to her right, then behind her, then above her. Fast. Too fast. The thing wasn't running. It was circling her. Mira stayed calm. Panic would only help the creature. She stared into the dark and spoke softly, almost like she was talking to a hidden friend. "You don't need to hide. I know you're there." A low, rumbling growl answered her. Not loud, not aggressive, just curious. Another light flickered to life, hanging farther down the corridor. It barely lit anything, but enough for Mira to see a tall shadow, wide shoulders, long arms, in human posture, standing at the edge of the dim light. Then it stepped back into the darkness before she could see more. Myra's heart didn't speed up. Instead, she felt a strange spark inside her, excitement. "So that's how they want to test me." She took a step forward. The creature growled again, deeper this time. The sound vibrated through her chest. She didn't stop. She took another step. The darkness seemed to move as she walked, reacting to her. Her shadow stretched unnaturally long, bending and shaking. The corridor felt alive. Suddenly, the voice in the training hall returned, cold, emotionless. "Candidate Mira, maintain distance." Mira ignored the voice. The creature growled at the sound, as if it also didn't like being interrupted. A soft mechanical beep followed the warning. The corridor lights switched from white to red. The walls vibrated. Mira heard the creature step closer. The weight of its movements shook the floor. Then, a massive shape lunged forward with a deep roar. Mira dodged instantly, dropping low as the creature's arm. Huge, thick, clawed, cut through the air where her head had been. The creature didn't miss from weakness. It missed because Mira had moved too fast for her to track. She rolled her feet, ready. The creature didn't attack again. It stood in the red glow now, half visible. It had dark, stone-like skin, glowing amber eyes, and a spine that curved upward like armor plates. It looked dangerous, deadly. But its eyes, they held something else too. Recognition. It growled, but softer now. Mira took a slow breath. "You're not here to kill me," she said quietly. "You're here to measure me." The creature tilted its head at her voice. She lifted her chin slightly. "Then don't hold back." The creature's chest rumbled, like a low laugh. It stepped fully into the red light, revealing its full size, almost twice her height. And for the first time, Mira felt real pressure, real challenge. Not gravity, not machines, not training simulations. A living opponent. Behind the observation glass, officers leaned forward, whispering urgently. "She's provoking it. That creature isn't stable. This is dangerous. Let it continue. We need to see her limits." Mira didn't hear them. Her focus was on the creature. It moved first. Fast. Heavy. Completely silent. Mira braced. The real test had finally begun. Myra's eyes narrowed. The creature crouched low, ready to strike again. Every muscle in her body was alive, alert. She could feel the heat of her heartbeat, the pulse of her blood, every nerve screaming attention. But she didn't panic. Panic would get her killed. The red light above flickered, as if warning her. Dust swirled around her boots. The air smelled metallic. Thick, alive. The creature moved silently, circling her, testing her reactions. Its amber eyes glowed with a predator's curiosity. It wasn't just hunting her, it was analyzing her. Mira kept her stance wide. She didn't advance. She didn't retreat. She waited. Then, faster than she could track, it lunged. Its clawed arms slashed through the air where her head had been a second ago. Mira dropped low, rolling forward on the hard metal floor. Sparks flew as her elbows scraped the corner of the corridor wall. Pain shot through her arm, but she ignored it. She rose instantly, ready. The creature roared, louder this time. Its massive body shook the hall. Mira felt the vibrations through her chest. She realized the creature was testing not just her speed, but her nerves. It wanted her to react, to panic, to break. She didn't. Mira waited, watching its every move. The creature's claws scraped the floor. Its steps echoed in patterns she could read. She noticed its weight shifted slightly before each strike. Every motion was predictable if you didn't lose focus. The next lunge came. This time, Mira was ready. She sidestepped and slammed her shoulder into the creature's side. The impact sent a shock through her bones. The creature stumbled slightly, but not enough to fall. Its eyes narrowed, and Mira could feel the intelligence behind the movement. This wasn't an animal. This was a trained predator. The corridor seemed to close in. The walls vibrated with tension. Mira ducked as the creature swung again. She twisted, using its momentum to slide past it, narrowly avoiding its claws. Sparks flew as metal walls scraped her boots. Every step, every movement required total focus. She could feel her muscles straining. Her breathing grew heavier. The blue symbol on her right hand flickered faintly, pulsing with energy she didn't fully understand yet. A reminder that she had something inside her, something that could tip the balance. Another strike came, faster this time. Mira jumped, twisting midair, landing perfectly on her feet. The creature stopped, shocked. It had never expected her to move like that under pressure. Its amber eyes flared brighter. The red light above seemed to flare in response. Mira took a slow breath. She could feel the corridor shaking around her, the air alive with tension. She knew the creature would strike again, but she also knew it was learning, observing, testing. Her voice cut the silence, calm but firm. "I'm not afraid. Not now. Not ever." The creature growled in response. It lunged again. Mira sidestepped, but this time she didn't just dodge. She countered. Her fist collided with its side, and the creature roared, stumbling. Sparks on the floor lit the dark corridor like tiny fireworks. Myra's eyes burned with focus. She had its attention now. The hall seemed to grow smaller. Every step, every move, every breath felt amplified. Mira realized the test wasn't about surviving. It wasn't about dodging or countering. It was about proving control. Control over fear, over gravity, over her own body, over the unknown. The creature roared again, larger this time, shaking the walls. Mira gritted her teeth, her muscles screaming. She could feel herself reaching her limit, but she forced herself to push further, step by step, strike by strike. She had to show that humans were more than their size, more than their frailty, more than what the galaxy expected. And with every movement, every strike, she began to understand something crucial. The creature was not her enemy. It was the mirror of her strength. Every step she took under pressure, every dodge and strike, reflected back what she was capable of. Myra's smirk returned. It was small, confident, and dangerous. She moved forward again, fully aware that each step might be the hardest, yet most important of her life. And the creature, massive and terrifying as it was, stepped back slightly, recognizing the challenge it shifted. This was no longer just a test. It was a battle of wills. Mira felt her muscles screaming, But she didn't stop. The corridor shook with every movement of the creature, but she moved with purpose. Every step, every dodge, every strike had meaning. She could feel the weight of the hall pressing down on her, like the world itself was testing her. The creature circled, massive and dangerous, its amber eyes glowing brighter. It was calculating, waiting for her to make a mistake. And Mira knew if she hesitated, it would strike with deadly precision. She planted her feet firmly and studied its movements. There was a rhythm, subtle but clear. Each step, each claw swing, repeated a pattern. The creature had strength, but Mira had strategy. The first opportunity came when the creature lunged from the left. Mira sidestepped, spinning around its bulk. Her hand brushed its armored side. She pushed hard with all her strength. The creature stumbled slightly. It was small, almost unnoticeable, but it was a first sign of victory. Myra's heart quickened. She had made it react. She had made it hesitate. The creature roared, shaking the hall with its sound. Mira didn't flinch. Instead, she read its next move before it even began. The claw came down again, fast and sharp. Mira ducked low, rolling under its strike. Her boot scraped the floor, sparks flying as she kicked the metal wall to regain momentum. Now she was behind it. She struck at the base of its spine with a punch. Not enough to kill, but enough to disrupt. The creature staggered forward. Its growl was louder, more frustrated. Mira smiled under the red light. Her first strike had worked. She could feel the pulse of power inside her hand. The blue symbol flickered once, like acknowledging her move. It had energy, yes, but so did she. The creature recovered quickly, but Mira was ready. Each time it lunged, she sidestepped, countered, pressed forward. Every motion was precise. Every dodge was calculated. Every strike chipped away at the creature's confidence. It wasn't used to an opponent that didn't panic, that didn't fear, that learned from its attack in real time. The hall vibrated with tension. Dust fell from the ceiling. The walls themselves seemed to lean closer, watching the silent duel. Mira felt every step in her bones, every strike in her arms. Pain was there, yes, but she ignored it. Focus consumed her. Then she saw it, a gap, a tiny, almost invisible gap in the creature's armor. The perfect spot to hit. Mira moved like lightning. Her fist slammed into a weak spot, and the creature roared in pain. Its head jerked sideways. Sparks flew as its armor plate scraped against the floor. For the first time, it staggered back completely. The massive predator was unbalanced. Myra's chest rose and fell fast, her body tense. But she didn't stop. She pressed forward, her eyes locked on the creature. Behind the glass observation room, the commanders gasped. Impossible. Tova whispered. Did she strike it? Velkar's jaw tightened. She's pushing it back. She's actually controlling the fight, Zelk muttered, barely breathing. Myra's first strike had not just landed. It had shifted the fight. The predator wasn't dominating her anymore. She had claimed space, forced it to react, forced it to respect her strength. She didn't smile yet. She was too focused. But the smirk lingered at the corner of her lips. Confidence was returning. She had survived the impossible. She had struck the impossible. The creature roared again more violently, swinging its massive arms in frustration. Mira ducked, rolled, and slammed into its side again, this time with shoulder strike. The force made it stumble into the wall. Sparks and metal scraps flew. The hallway seemed to echo with the clash of her strength and the predator's might. Mira felt alive, more alive than ever. Pain, pressure, fear, all of it had transformed into control. And then she realized something terrifying and exciting. This was not just a test. This was the beginning of her real power. The creature lunged once more, slower this time. Its eyes glowed amber with both rage and recognition. Mira met it head-on. She was ready for whatever would throw at her next. And she knew, deep in her bones, this fight had only just begun. The creature roared, a sound that shook the corridor walls and rattled Myra's bones. Its amber eyes glowed like molten fire, and every movement carried the weight of raw power. Yet, for the first time, Mira didn't feel small. She didn't feel pressured. She felt alive, focused, alert, unshakable. Her hand flickered with faint blue light. the same symbol that had activated earlier. It pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. She didn't understand it fully yet, but she could feel it responding to her will. Every step she took, every strike she made the glow stronger. The creature lunged again, faster, claws aimed to crush her. Mira sidestepped effortlessly, feeling the floor beneath her feet like she could read every vibration. She rolled, twisted, and planted herself behind the beast. Her first strike had already weakened it. Now she pressed her advantage. With sudden bursts of speed, she slammed her palm into its spine. Sparks erupted as the force traveled through the creature's armor plates. It staggered forward, its roar turning into a frustrated growl. Mira could see the frustration in its eyes, recognition that this human was no ordinary opponent. She pressed forward. Every move was measured. She didn't rely on brute force alone. She relied on precision, timing, and instinct. The creature lunged again. Mira ducked and rolled, landing perfectly on her feet. The blue symbol on her hand pulsed brighter now, almost like it approved her every action. The red lights flickered violently, casting long, moving shadows across the walls. Mira realized something important. The corridor wasn't just a test of strength, it was a test of control under pressure. Every step, every dodge, every strike mattered more than raw power. And Mira had mastered that balance. The creature made another lunge. This time Mira didn't dodge first. She waited, read its movement, and met its attack head-on. Her shoulder slammed against its side. Her elbow caught one of its massive arms, redirecting its momentum. The creature crashed into the corridor wall, leaving deep dents and sparks in its wake. The hall fell into a tense silence for a heartbeat. Mira stood over it, breathing hard but steady. She was exhausted, her muscles burning, yet the exhilaration kept her moving. For the first time, the predator hesitated. It lowered its head slightly, its amber eyes scanning her like it was reconsidering everything it knew about strength. She smiled faintly, not a big grin, just the corner of her lips, but it carried confidence and power. She could feel her hidden strength growing. The symbol on her hand glowed steady now, not flickering but strong, pulsing with energy she didn't fully control yet. The creature growled softly, circling her cautiously. Every step it took, Mira read like a book. It had tested her. It had underestimated her. Now, it knew it wasn't facing an ordinary human. She was something else, something dangerous. Mira lifted her hand, the glow spreading across her fingers. The corridor vibrated slightly, responding to power inside her. She didn't know exactly what it was, but she felt connected to it, like it belonged to her. Every move she made now was amplified by it. Every dodge, every strike sharper, faster, stronger. The creature roared one final time, its frustration boiling over. It charged at her with everything it had left. Mira stood her ground, calm and unwavering. The predator lunged, but this time Mira didn't evade. It met it head-on. Her hand struck its chest, the force amplified by the pulsing energy from the symbol. Sparks erupted, and the creature's roar turned into a guttural growl of surprise. It stumbled back, heavy and slow. Mira's breathing was deep but controlled. Her eyes shone with determination. She had done it. For the first time, she dominated a predator, not with brute force, but with control, speed, and power she barely understood. She looked around the corridor, sensing that the test wasn't over, but she had proven something important. She had survived impossible pressure. She had survived the hunt. And now, she was ready for anything. The creature, still alive but subdued, stepped back. Its amber eyes followed her every movement, respect slowly replacing aggression. Mira smirked faintly. She had not just survived the trial. She had conquered it. Behind the observation glass, the commanders were silent. None had expected this. None had anticipated a human could achieve such control, such strength, such presence under pressure. Mira Hale was no ordinary recruit. She was something entirely new. And the corridors of Station Zorith, 9 were only the beginning. The red light dimmed slowly, leaving the corridor half-lit and heavy with dust. Myra's chest rose and fell rapidly, her muscles trembling from every strike, every dodge, every step she had taken. But she stood. She was alive, stronger than before, unbroken. The creature, massive and terrifying, remained crouched. Its amber eyes no longer glowed with aggression. Instead, there was something almost respectful. It had tested her, and it had learned that she was not ordinary. She was something else, something powerful, something dangerous. Mira wiped the sweat from her brow. The blue symbol on her hand had stopped pulsing, now glowing softly, calm, like a heartbeat that found its rhythm. She didn't fully understand it yet, but she could feel its connection. It was hers, part of her. She took a step forward. The creature rose slowly, towering over her, but no longer moving to attack. It watched, and Mira realized the trial wasn't about defeating the creature. The trial was about proving herself worthy, about showing strength under pressure, courage under fear, and control under chaos. Her eyes met the creature's amber gaze. A silent, understanding passed between them. The hunt was over. She had not only survived, it had learned from her. She had become the force no one expected. The corridor doors hissed open behind her. The observation room lights came back on. Commanders Velkar, Tova, and Zelk leaned forward, their expressions a mix of shock, awe, and disbelief. She did it, whispered Tova. She has done what no human, no soldier, no trainee has ever done. Velkar's mechanical fingers tapped rapidly on his armrest. Not just done it, she dominated it. She controlled the impossible. Zelk's gray eyes glimmered with a mixture of pride and fear. This human, this girl, she is unlike anything we've ever seen. She is more than a candidate. She is the conqueror. Mira straightened, feeling her exhaustion like a heavy weight, but also feeling a spark of power igniting inside her chest. Every test, every pressure, every impossible strike had sharpened her, strengthened her. She was ready for more. The creature lowered its head in silent acknowledgement. Myra's smirk returned, faint, confident, dangerous. This was not the end. It was a beginning. She turned toward the exit corridor. Every step was steady, deliberate. She could feel eyes on her. Every commander, every trainee, every observer in the hall knew that this human girl had changed the rules. Mira paused at the corridor's threshold and whispered softly, not to the creature, not to commanders, but to herself. Next, the word echoed, simple, confident, and full of promise. Behind her, the hall seemed quieter now, almost respectful. The impossible gravity, the predator, the fear, it all had bowed to her. She had survived the first true test of Station Zorth, 9, and she had done more than survive. She had conquered, but Mira knew the trials would only grow harder, stronger, deadlier, and deep inside, she felt the stirring of something greater, something she hadn't fully unlocked yet. Her strength, her skill, her power, it was only the beginning. As she stepped into the next corridor, the red light flickered once more, a warning, a promise, a challenge. Mira didn't hesitate. She never would. This was her story, her fight, her rise, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming next.